Marvel nailed Avengers Endgame with their amazing read on what the fans desired. They look to repeat the same with Avengers Secret Wars. There are reports that multiple fan-favorite actors will be reprising their roles in this upcoming movie, and we can only hope that it all comes true. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on with Marvel's latest projects and what we can expect from them going into the future. First, let's take a look at how Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield can join the cast. Secret Wars is set to release sometime in 2026 and will close the multiverse saga for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This gives the franchise the perfect opportunity to bring back some of its most beloved characters for one last ride. The studio can secure another billion-dollar box office by simply adding the Spider-Man No Way Home formula to their latest big MCU event. Like they brought back the old Spider-Man in it, they can look to repeat the same for Secret Wars. According to reports by the giant freaking robot, Maguire and Garfield will make their return as Spider-Man in the new movie. And this won't be a cameo either. It is said that they would both have predominant roles in the film, so much so it's going to be bigger than what they had in No Way Home. This makes sense for Marvel to do too. The reception they both got at the box office in the latest Spider-Man movie was phenomenal, and their on-screen chemistry left the fans wanting more of it. Until now, Marvel has not been faithful in their adaptations of the comics in the MCU, so it's very difficult to predict the plot for Secret Wars. But at the same time, this gives them a chance to do what the fans would love to see. There are reports that besides Maguire and Garfield, some of the other actors will also return to the Marvel roster. Following up, who else could return for the upcoming big event in the MCU? Avengers Secret Wars will be the most anticipated movie after the Endgame, and it'll follow Avengers Kang Dynasty. The movie will also mark the end of Phase 6 for Marvel. The directors of Infinity War and Endgame, Anthony and Joe Russo, were previously expected to take the reins for Marvel's latest big event. But Kevin Feige, the leader of Marvel Studios, has denied any speculation and confirmed that the brothers won't be back to direct Secret Wars. In addition to Maguire and Garfield, the leaker My Time to Shine Hello also expects Hugh Jackman to return as the Wolverine. The Insider is a reliable source, as they have leaked correct information in the past for Marvel films. They also expect that the characters would also meet and fight together in Secret Wars. Apart from these, any number of characters, no matter how old, can come back in the upcoming project. Virtually any superhero in the Marvel multiverse can either feature or appear in a cameo. In the Secret Wars comics, heroes from Earth 616 clashed with their counterparts from the Ultimate Universe on Battleworld. MCU's deviation from the source material could mean the inclusion of more universes in the movie, especially after the second Doctor Strange movie showed that incursions are possible. There could be many incursion events that can set the premise for Secret Wars. This opens the door to endless possibilities for the studio and what they want to do. They can bring back Fox's X-Men, Sony's Venom, or even the long-forgotten 2003's Daredevil and 2005's Swamp Thing. This makes Marvel's upcoming entries really exciting for the fans. Now, let's look at how No Way Home redeemed The Amazing Spider-Man. The fans were excited to see the return of both of the previous versions of Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield definitely made the biggest impact. This was especially great to watch because Sony ended up canceling The Amazing Spider-Man 3 after the first two films received a lukewarm reaction. The response was so starkly different from Garfield's Peter in No Way Home because it embraced the actor's comedic talents, which allowed him to shine. This proved that his Spider-Man was utterly wasted by Sony, who could have done so much better by simply adjusting their role to tailor Andrew. Since his return in No Way Home, much of the hate and criticism he received has significantly reduced. He was redeemed by Marvel and was able to address how losing his Gwen changed him. What's more is that some fans are now calling for the third installment of Garfield's Spider-Man, and some are even asking for it to make an appearance with Tom Hardy's Venom. While none of this can be confirmed as yet, one thing is for certain: public perception of Garfield's Spidey has drastically shifted. Next, let's look at how Secret Wars can redeem some of the Marvel characters. As we witness the success of Garfield's redemption in No Way Home, there's a possibility that some of Marvel's lesser-loved renditions of their characters can receive similar treatment in Secret Wars. The question remains, which of the botched live-action adaptations will the studio choose to redeem in their upcoming project? There's no doubt that it is the most exciting prospect of the closing chapter of Phase 6, but it'll be unreasonable to expect that the movie will bring back every single Marvel hero. In fact, it would be wise of the studio to single out some of the specific characters to return for their last ride. One of the possible redemption arcs could be for the live-action adaptations of the Fantastic Four. Although a returning cameo from the 2015 reboot may not have the right nostalgic punch that Marvel might be looking for, the studio can, however, revisit the original 2005 franchise and make things interesting for the audience. In particular, Chris Evans's Human Torch would stand out as a fantastic cameo, given that the actor has also played Captain America in MCU. If done right, it would sit well with the fans, and Marvel can revisit this variant with an actor who was so crucial in the early days of the MCU. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider is another example of someone who would be perfect for a cameo in the Secret Wars. Given the character's sparse appearances since the franchise ended, this could be a hit with the audience. Similarly, Marvel can also bring back Wesley Snipes' Blade and give him a more satisfying conclusion than the original trilogy provided. Moving on to how Spider-Man 4 could be worse for Peter Parker. The latest installment of the Spider-Man series, No Way Home, totally changed Peter's story and left him all alone in the end. But the changes we saw in the extended cut make things even worse and much more complicated for him in the future. The MCU began exploring its multiverse during Phase 4, and without a doubt, No Way Home was its biggest adventure in the multiverse so far. It brought variants of New York's favorite web-slinger into Tom Holland's universe, and gave a glimpse into the dangers of multiversal chaos. After Peter's identity was revealed to the entire world at the end of Far From Home,
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
the latest Spider-Man movie saw Peter asking Doctor Strange to cast a spell that would make everyone forget that he's Spider-Man. The spell was botched, as we know, and this allows villains from all Spider-Man universes to converge on Holland's character. This also brought back Maguire and Garfield to the big screen, as they joined forces with Holland to stop all of their enemies. To stop all the chaos, Doctor Strange had to recast the spell to make everyone forget Peter, but this time it was without exceptions. The extent of its effect wasn't shown until the post-credit scene of the extended cut of No Way Home. This showed that Spider-Man's future could be even worse than it already was, as he was left alone, without family, friends, or even the Avengers to help him out. Now, can Peter make people remember him again? At the end of No Way Home, Peter could be seen visiting the coffee shop where MJ works. He hoped that he could make her and Ned remember him somehow, but couldn't bring himself to tell them. Following that scene, we saw Parker move to a small apartment where he was making a new Spidey suit for himself, which symbolized a new beginning. The movie left a lot of questions as to how easy it would be for Peter to make his friends remember. But as was evident from the extended cut of the film, Strange's spell was strong, and things won't be easy for Peter in the future. There's another scene in a video from Midtown School about Betty's Corner with Betty Brant. In this scene, Betty was recapping their high school years and showed a photo from their trip to Europe where Peter appears in the middle but has his face covered by a pigeon. In another video, he appeared on the camera with his back turned towards it. This is proof that any evidence of Peter's existence has been altered by Strange's spell. This makes things even more difficult for him as he has no actual proof of the time he spent with anyone. There may be loopholes in the spell that might allow Peter to make people remember him, but for now, it seems as though no one has any memory of him. For example, the person in the photo behind the pigeon could be anyone at all, and since no one remembers him, Peter can't convince anyone of his being with them on that trip. Finally, why shouldn't Spider-Man 4 mess with Doctor Strange's memory spell? No Way Home's ending was heartbreaking, as Peter lost his Aunt May, and on top of that, his girlfriend, his best friend, and none of his superhero colleagues remember him. Although they remember Spider-Man, the man behind the mask is all alone in the world at the moment. Marvel shouldn't rush into reversing the spell, and can actually use this opportunity to explore more of his character in the live-action adaptation. He can truly become the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
You know who I am.
I do.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
And explore his relationship with some of the other characters. They can introduce Spidey's other love interests, Gwen Stacy and Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat. They can also bring in some of the key villains, such as Kingpin, Mr. Negative, and Mephisto. At some point in the future, they may reverse the spell, but for now, the studio has an opportunity to explore more sides of the characters and shouldn't be hasty with a memory reversal for Peter's friends. That's all from us today, folks. Tell us how excited you are about the Secret Wars project. Who would you like to return to in the movie? Also, share your thoughts on what could go down in Spider-Man 4. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more such news.